Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name's Michael.
My name's Cleve.
And welcome to an exciting episode of Friendship. With a podcast that dares to ask, why doesn't Cleve ever get to ask questions?
It's a good question.
We're only 220 episodes or so in. Fine.
Do I have good answers? Maybe.
Oh, maybe that's what it is, because you always got the good answers. So I'm asking the question to see what Cleve... Well, Cleve, what's your favorite cult classic movie?
I sat on this for a minute, right? Because what makes a cult classic, right?
That's a great question.
Because first I thought, okay, obviously low budget, but then I thought Disney has cult classics. So then I'm like, okay, so it has to bomb at the beginning and then pick up speed at the end, because then it can't get too popular. Otherwise, it's not a cult classic, right?
Then there's also the genre of big name studios purposely making movies to be cult classics. Good example, I think, is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Like, when they made that, they were like, this is the dumbest fucking movie ever, and we know it. And they really hoped for that to be a thing we latched onto, and it was.
Okay, I can see that. I think, well, so the movie I was gonna say, but I feel like it, because it got really popular for our generation at that time, which is Napoleon Dynamite.
That is one that I would consider a cult classic.
But also, like, if everyone can quote it, is it?
That's fair. Maybe it's
So-
not. Maybe it was more popular than we thought. It just wasn't the right intended audience that saw it.
I mean, it was everyone in high school.
You know, yeah.
Everyone in high school was like, "You could be some dinner." It's the first quote I can think of.
I didn't see the movie until my 20s, and I still could quote it, not having seen it. God,
Yeah, that's because
get your tots.
so then,
no, it's
vote for Pedro. Like, yeah, like, so
100%.
is it a cult? Is it a cult classic if, like, the whole fucking world knows about it, or because the whole point of a cult classic is, like, it's a small group, but if the small group talks about it and the movie is good, then it's bigger now. I don't know. How do you define a cult classic?
That was the question I really kept running into this entire time, like, just mentally preparing for today's episode, is what is a cult classic? Because theoretically, The Last Dragon is a cult classic, but it depends on how popular you need it to get. Because, like, I don't know how popular it has to be for it then to have gotten that ramp back up.
I think it has to have its undying fan base, but then not get more fans. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, because there's no way back in the day that The Last Dragon was not good. It had to be good at all times.
It was always good. It's the greatest movie that's ever been given to us.
Yeah. Thank you, directors whose name I can't remember.
And didn't he only do like one or two things?
Yeah.
Then you have movies like The Room, which has become such a phenomena again that then James Franco went and made a movie about a movie.
Well, shit. So is the answer then it's a bad movie?
Sometimes it's that it's so bad it's good. Like, that is also a thing, because, like, Flash Gordon, I love Flash Gordon, but it's fucking awful. Like, I know it's bad, but, like, I like it, right? Killer Clowns from Outer Space, not a great horror film, but we love it.
Because I thought also Donnie Darko, which is not a bad movie, but also cult classic. So
Donnie Darko Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It also didn't get that notoriety, blah, 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 the praise it deserved at that time.
I have a small list of, because like Donnie Darko would be the first movie I believe I heard that term
Mhm.
was cult classic. Like I think as a like growing up, that was the
I
first
would
time
agree.
I was told that like, hey, this is a cult classic. I was like, oh, okay. I have a list of like I just started separating, like I went through like several like top 100 cult classics, and I was like, okay, let me separate these and kind of, I have 3 lists. A list
Okay.
of, oh, I really liked these cult classics, and these would be amongst my favorite movies that exist in this genre. Then I have, these are movies that I just couldn't get on board with, but sure. And then I have a smaller list that is, these are movies that are problematic, only problematic people like. Like if you start, the
Mm.
more you start to see, like the more of these movies you see someone like, the more concerned you should be about the bodies in their basement. And Donnie
Mm.
Darko's on that.
Pick a Destiny.
Ooh.
I would
According to the song "Rise of the Phoenix," uh, you know, they don't
didn't
have
do
to get
well.
rid of their D. They don't have to get rid of their D tattoo anymore.
Didn't do well, but also the fans that are fans loved it.
That's such an interesting one, specifically because you could be such a huge fan of Tenacious D that it would drive you through to like the movie, whether it was good or bad. And so, like, these are people that specifically already like. It would be like
They already have the fan
League
base.
of Extraordinary Men, right? Like, let's say
Yeah.
you just had this weird group of people that were just obsessed with the concept of League of Extraordinary Men. It did terribly, but they don't give a shit because it was just that was what they wanted to hear from, and it kept going. And so, I don't know. That is a weird
I
one.
get it.
A lot of Tarantino films are on that list. I was specifically saying,
Which doesn't make sense to me
about problematic
because
people.
he's a big actor or a big director.
Right.
I feel like once you've reached a level of status, can you? I don't know. It's the definition of cult classic is so weird, but that's like uh Martin Scorsese. Like, does he have cult classics, or does he just have classics, or
Did you know what he was doing?
they just make blockbusters? Like it's.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it couldn't have made money in theaters because that would be a blockbuster, right?
Right.
None of these movies could have like broke a record.
Certainly not. Especially none of the ones I have in the list of these movies I really enjoyed in the cult classic genre.
Mhm.
None of those made money in the theaters. I can assure you, not one of them did.
All right. Well,
What's up?
you did more research than I thought you would. I'm excited to see this list or hear about it.
Well, I don't know exactly where you want to go with today's episode. I don't want.
I don't either. I would also be curious on the amount of comedies versus horrors versus action. I don't know.
I would say action and comedy are going to be more heavily driven in this category than anything else. IMDb had top 100 cult classics of all time. They had Flash Gordon, and then about 4 down was Flesh Gordon. And not quite a porno, but let me tell you, it is definitely like that level of like acting.
Did you look into it?
Yeah. There are definitely, it is more of a parody than a raunchy film. But that
If
being
it's not a
said,
raunchy film, why you name it Flesh Gordon?
I 100% agree.
Okay.
Amongst my travels and looking through cult classics, I did come across one, and I'm curious if you've ever heard of it. Fritz the Cat.
That name, yes.
1960s. It was very specifically like, we want a movie to be rated X.
Mm.
And so we did this. And let me tell you, 10 seconds into the trailer, a crow definitely drops hard R and says, "I ain't one of those jive hard R's."
Yikes.
But like all the, very obviously they're trying to be like stereotypically like this, like negative stereotypes of black people are the crows, which we already saw in Dumbo, so we're not far off, right? But like the cat is obsessed with sex. And there are many scenes in which you just watch a cat fucking another cat who is anatomically just looks like a woman, But is it cat? It's
I think I was in caves one time and this was on. It sounds an awful lot like that, and I remember going, "Oh fuck,
it is
what's happening?"
It is rough. And so that made it onto my list of it's really problematic if you like this film.
I'm looking at a poster right now, and the cat is sitting on the couch with another cat, and his hand is over her neck and in her shirt, and it says, "We're not rated X for nothing, baby." And it said he's rated X, and he's X-rated and animated. Someone got paid for that.
Yeah, no, at one point in time he walks up to 3 cats, because he dropped out of school and he walked up to 3 cats and they're like talking and he goes, I've never had a foursome before. And then the next thing you see is they're in a bathtub and they're just big old cat boobs hanging out, and he is just going to town. At one point he yelled, "Here comes the soldiers," as he's ejaculating. This was a movie that happened in the 60s and we said that needed to happen, and I'm concerned about it. But that was on
Not only
the
did we
list.
say this needed to happen, but we said, "I'm a fucking fan. I'll die for this movie."
That's kind of what it feels like. I also have on my problematic list Dazed and Confused, because this is where Matthew McConaughey said, "The thing I love about high school is I keep getting older, but the women keep stay the same age."
Yeah, yes.
So really, that's kind of a concern I had.
If only he knew that saying that quote would be so.
People say it in like a non-ironic way, though. Like, people are, yeah.
It's fine when you change the context of what you're talking about, maybe.
Probably. There you go. No, so like these 5 or 6-ish films, I think like are a genuine like that you might want to check the mental health of these people if they like all 5 of these. The more they like, the more concerned I am. I'll say this because I know you like Pulp Fiction, I believe, but like Pulp Fiction's one on there that, depending on how much you like, if you're a diehard Pulp Fiction fan, I start to get concerned. But then when you throw like Reservoir Dogs on top of that, I'm more concerned now. Then you throw something like Fight Club in there. I understand the appeal, the mass appeal, but like there's that level of people that think that they are Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
And then we have.
He had a point. Like, no, not that one. That one didn't have a point.
You're missing a lot right here. Please stop. And then we have Boondock Saints, and this is how I'm trying not to be biased here, because I liked a lot of these movies when I was growing up, and that's how I know these are problematic movies. Boondock Saints was a heavy one. There's a lot of people out there that really think that they're doing God's work by being shitty people. And then lastly is Clockwork Orange, which is another film that I was like, oh, I loved this movie. It was so good. And that's how I know that this is not, it's not okay, guys. Clockwork Orange is not a good movie. Stanley Kubrick, terrifying human being.
I've never seen that movie. I've first of all, I've never seen that movie, but I've never seen bits of that movie where I haven't felt
uncomfortable. Yeah, 100%. It's and everybody is like, and everybody always wants to. There's so much to it, and it's such a. I wanted to make sure it was Stanley Kubrick before I blamed him, but it's. I don't know. The other ones, like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like I just didn't get on board. If you like it, fine. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna upset a lot of people on a lot of things I say here.
I can see that.
Office Space.
Cult classics. People really love when you fuck with their cult classics.
They do. Office Space, it was fine. It's not as funny as people say it is. The best thing that came out of it was Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster got to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Monty Python and Holy Grail. No.
I think the parodies that you got off of the computer smashing scene were.
That's fair.
Is something.
That's very fair. And then the kid that Jennifer Aniston works with at the restaurant, like that whole restaurant vibe was funny.
Waiting, yeah.
Monty Python and Holy Grail it's no surprise that I don't like British comedy. I don't think it's funny, so it's fair that you'll see me think one of them. Plus, I
He's
could.
a real he's a
What?
real U.S. Office kind of guy.
Hey, U.S. Office hands down better. But I also was like in high school. I assume you dealt with similar things sometimes, but like there was just that group of kids that only ever quoted this fucking movie,
Yeah.
and I hated it. Like I just like to this day, there are still people that walk around with two coconuts and clap them together like they're on a horse, and it just it strikes something deep within me.
That's just theater. What you described as theater, kids.
That's fair. 100%.
That's how you. We can't buy a horse, Michael. So we're going to clap the coconuts together and pretend we're on a horse.
I won't just go down my whole list. What is your opinion on some stuff? I don't want to like just.
No. Let's go down the whole
list.
list. Let's go down the whole list.
Donnie Darko. Like I said,
Uh-huh.
I get it, but like it just wasn't great. I think these are types. Some of these, like some of the movies that are cult classics to me, are those movies where like people look so deep into a movie and ruin it.
This movie came out in 2001. I thought it was way later than that.
Donnie Darko.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's
It's set
Jake-
in 88. Maybe
isn't
that's what it is.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I remember a girl I was dating at the time in high school was like, I love this movie so much. And I'm just like, all right, let me watch it with you. And I remember like her getting some profound like message from it. Like that's how she felt. And I just think that's part of what it is. Like people think that they get so much more out of it, or they get like, I don't know, like what was it that we were talking about once where we were like, when people kept saying, "Oh, you know, I have a theory that the reason they did this was because of this," and we were like joking that the movies were like, "Yeah, of course, that was it," and like,
Spider-Man.
thank you.
Or not, Iron Man, when he was like, "Is that Peter Parker?"
Oh yeah, and then
Iron
it's just
Man
like, yeah,
mask?"
Disney,
Like,
yeah, Disney being Disney is just like, yeah, fuck yeah, it is. Of course, we meant that all along. 10 steps
that,
ahead,
yeah.
bitches.
yeah, no problem.
Like,
no,
I think
no
it's
look
just-
at, no look at that at all.
I think it's just like that. Like, oh, well, the man in the bunny suit meant this. And then, like, people are like, yeah, definitely. That's what I got out of it, too. Donnie Darko was real cool to like when you were, like, in that dark emo phase. You know who?
Just the Demon Bunny.
Yeah. You know who I imagine would be real good friends with the Demon Bunny? Is Luis.
Mm. Probably haven't done that yet.
I already talked about Dazed and Confused. This is one, and again, this is part of the list of ones that I understand, but it wasn't my jam. The Big Lebowski. All right. It was a movie.
Everybody wants to be cool, man.
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to be cool. Everybody wants to be the cool guy. Everybody wants to be an old cool guy.
Yeah. Spoiler, guys. Nobody's fucking cool when they're older.
Mhm.
I feel my coolness slowly slipping away every day.
Henry Winkler.
Oh, fair. The Fonz. You can't take it away from him.
Yep.
Even when he's covered in bees. Thanks, little Nicky.
Yeah.
Can little Nicky be a cult classic only for me?
Clint
Say it one more time.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, after he's not just after, but
cool enough?
specifically after he did Gran Torino, it feels like he's said some words he shouldn't say.
Oh, I mean, if he was alive in that time, he absolutely has. But what I'm asking you is he cool? That's not cool. But is he cool?
He's cool to a lot of very
Also old people?
cis,
Older young people?
hetero, straight-edged men.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
White, straight-edged men.
Do we call Jack Black old? I know this
Yes,
is what this is about.
That's fair. He is old. And he
pretty
is
fucking
cool. He's gonna get older and he'll stop being cool though.
Are you sure?
Henry Winkler, that's fair. Henry Winkler is a great example. So maybe there's anomalies, okay? but we're not. Friendship Supreme's not an anomaly, guys. We're getting older
not
and
that.
we're losing
We
it.
got a small window.
Another really big one that
It's gonna be a cult classic.
if there was one that I got more hate for than any other one, aside from the Big Lebowski, it's this one, and it's The Labyrinth. And I actually hated this movie.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't care for Bowie in it. I didn't care for any of the singing in it. I didn't like it. It was not my jam. And it may have been the age I watched it at that it just wasn't meant for me. And then thus I didn't enjoy it. And I took that on and kept going with it, not liking it, but not for me.
Is The Dark Crystal on your list anywhere?
It is not on my list. That movie terrified small Michael. That movie's fucked up.
Yeah, no, not for me. No thanks.
One that I thought I was always gonna like, right, was Heavy Metal. I grew up being told you can't watch it. It's so fucking good, but you can't watch it. You can't watch it. Just boobs everywhere, animated, like fucking yeah. It's just, you can't watch it. It's not. But when you get older, you're gonna fucking love it so much. And I watched it, and I was like, I wish they would have just showed it to me. Because little did they know, I was seeing more pixelated boobies than they ever thought. But anyway, like, this is okay.
It was like this and the cat one. It's like adults were like, "Oh shit, cartoons." It's like Family Guy for us now.
Right.
It's like, "Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at them do this stuff. So cool."
Yeah.
Fucking other cats. Can't wait.
That is my list of like ones that I just wasn't, like I said, wasn't feeling it, wasn't my thing. There were a bunch more that I didn't even write down. Those are all ones I've never heard of, or it just wasn't a thing I was about. One I'm real curious about. Never saw it. Didn't know where to put it on my list. Surf Nazis Must Die. And at first I was like, this just seems real stupid, until the protagonist came on. And depending on how they portray the protagonist, she could either be the best character in the whole fucking world. She's probably early 40s, heavier set black woman. And there's a scene in which she goes into a pawn shop and says, I need something. And he said, like, oh, I got anything you want. And he said, what about this? And she goes, I'm more interested. I wrote it down. I'm more interested in something that can take the head off a honky at 20 yards. And I said, I think I need to see this movie.
I see two pictures of this woman. One of them is her with her hand on the shoulders of a white dude, pushing his face into the wall while he has his hands like spread out like this. The other picture is her holding a gun, screaming on a boat and a lake for sure. I'm okay with watching it.
I think we have to. Like,
feels like this is where we're gonna end up.
I didn't think that that's what this search was gonna turn out to be, but like, and like when I'm
free
watching
on
the trailer,
Amazon Prime Video, Tubi, Pluto, Flex,
free on all the fucking things that it should obviously be free on.
Yeah.
The whole premise is essentially the world has just gone to shit, and Southern California is run by gangs, and where the gangs are all kind of congregating is on the beach. So then the surfers are like where it's at, and all the surf gangs are they all like look up to the Nazi gang, the neo-Nazis, and then she now needs to rid all of Southern California of the gangs for some reason.
Okay. Yeah.
The picture of the fucking cover picture was what was like had me go, this isn't going to be great, because it's like a man on a surfboard with like a robot arm and a gun in his hand. And I thought he was going to be who was stopping the Nazis, but he is a Nazi.
That makes sense.
So there you go.
So then, Samurai Cop cult classic?
Oh, 100%. Same thing with VelociPastor. I think VelociPastor is also there's nothing better than a movie that went to like finished product that while he comes out of the building and his parents' car is supposed to be on fire, it just says "insert car on fire" here.
Yeah, I think that's another one of those you were talking about where it's like, we're going to purposely make this so bad that it's good.
That's fair. So it's a thin line, man. It's a real thin line on. The other one I would tell you that okay, so I have the list of like my favorite ones or ones I liked, but I have two on there that I would also consider along the same lines of Donnie Darko. That like these I have always known to be cult classic movies. Like that is the staple that I would consider it to be, and that's Rocky Horror Picture Show. Because they still go to showings of it dressed up as the characters and have an entire script for themselves to then repeat when things get said. Like they have a call and response sheet that's like, if they say this in the movie, you say this. Like it's fucking insane. And then UHF.
It's a cult for real.
For real. And then UHF, which is Weird Al's only movie until the recent biopic of Weird Al. And I don't know if you remember that movie, but that definitely was
very little. I remember he had one.
That was a movie, and I was on board for it as a kid. Loved me some Weird Al.
Was that all the ones that you were?
No, I have
those
a lot.
All your winners.
I didn't. Okay. I had a lot, but I didn't want to talk too much.
Oh, when did you start feeling that way? Go ahead.
Well, I want you to be able to say some stuff too. Like I don't know if you had
opinions.
Commenting.
We're going back and forth.
Again, like you brought up this topic, and I didn't want to like overrun it. I just happened to write a list of fucking movies.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Do you remember? Because I really liked this movie, and I think that we could have built more onto it. We had two, but Escape from New York, and I think. Is that Kurt Russell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He ends up in a lot of cult classics, I feel like.
Which is funny because he's a good actor.
Yeah. But Escape from New York was the concept that, like, we had to get a prisoner out of prison to protect the president because he's the best there ever was.
Yeah. Got an iPad to that one, huh?
He does. He sure does. Have you ever seen that one?
It's long ago.
Yeah. The other one was something in LA. Maybe it was Escape from LA after that. But they had Empire Records as a cult classic. I mean, in fairness, everybody celebrates Rex Manning Day now, so I'm on board for it.
Can you be a cult classic if you get a sequel?
Oh, that's fair.
Just asking for a friend. I feel like if you were good enough to get a sequel, your vision was acknowledged.
None of these on here have a sequel except for Flash Gordon, which then there was Flesh Gordon.
I don't know if that was a sequel.
That's fair.
Like I would say more Big Trouble in Little Chinatown.
I also have that on my
Escape
list.
From.
I also have that on my list because there's nothing like fucking Thunder, Lightning, and why am I forgetting the third one? Thunder, Lightning, and fuck. Is it just Storm? I have the Pops.
Rain,
thank you. I have the Funko Pops. I just couldn't remember it. Yeah, I had that on my list. But Empire Records, like I said, it was listed as a cult classic. I loved the movie. Introduced to me by the same girlfriend I had that introduced me to Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko didn't like. I liked Empire Records. I say, damn the man, save the empire all the time. And it's a thing. But also people celebrate Rex Manning Day, which is such a weird, obscure thing. And so thus, yes, it's a cult classic, I guess.
I guess so.
Idiocracy. I love that movie. I will stand by that movie forever. And a lot of people hated it. I did not understand why. Maybe it was too close to home. It was too much commentary on what's going on in life.
Also, it was like it can come off as like oh, you think you're smarter than.
That is fair.
You know, somebody's like, "What for movie's Idiocracy?" You're like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Accurate. That's why you never say it's your favorite movie. Good movie, not your favorite though. But when he's like fucking orders from like Carl's Jr. and the whole thing is fantastic.
The whole Crocs thing was hilarious.
Yeah. So tell that fact to everybody, Cleve. Let them know.
So they had to get everyone shoes of the movie, and so they were trying to find shoes that looked like they would be future, but dumb. And obviously, the punchline now is that they bought Crocs, but the designer was like, nobody's gonna fucking buy these shoes. Like, it's fine. And now, everybody's super reps their Crocs like nobody's fucking business.
Yeah. Yep. They got a great deal on it because nobody was buying them.
Yep. They probably saved the company. Think about it.
Did.
Think about it. It probably
Idiocracy is the reason that company is still fucking around. God damn it.
I kept the lights on for a couple months, and that's all I needed.
They have Bloodsport on here as a cult classic, and I felt like we're big fans of Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? I mean,
yeah, he's too big to me. But I mean, Kurt Russell's so. I guess it's so hard. The parameters they always move to
such a weird, yeah. The Thing was listed on here. I didn't think it was a cult classic because I wasn't around when it was first released, but I really enjoyed this movie. It's a horror film, so you might not have ever seen it, Cleve.
I know of it though.
Yeah, it's essentially there's an alien species that like can look like anything they wanted to. Yeah.
Well, it had a budget of 15 million and box office made 19.6, so that's not super hot.
Fair. So I always enjoyed the film, but again, I watched it at a later age, so it very, very well could be that. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes already talked about, but I mean, we kind of fucking TV show out of it as kids, and that song is easily the quickest theme song to get stuck in my head.
Go ahead and sing it, man.
I don't want to anymore.
You know those 4 movies
of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Attack of the Killer Tomato, Return of the Killer Tomato, Killer Tomato Strikes Back, Killer Tomatoes Eat France. 1978, 88, 91, and 92.
This definitely is along the genre of we made it dumb on purpose. So again, take that for what you will. Because Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is just, it's plain fucking stupid. That's all it is. The Warriors. I think Cleve has heard me talk many times about the Warriors, but I love that.
To me, I guess I wouldn't have thought like the Thing. I wouldn't have thought of that as a cult classic, but
that's where Can You Dig It comes from. Well, not comes from, but was popularized.
Maybe it's just movies that won't die. People won't let these movies die.
I would stand by the Warriors. That's a lot of these movies I have showed to Katie and she has not been on board with. Maybe that's the definition of a cult classic. Does Katie like it? No, it's probably a cult classic.
No, because she likes Monty.
She does. That's only because they're British, though. And really, when's the last time she's seen it? It's tough to say you like a movie if you haven't seen it recently.
Her wife did.
Within last, I'm gonna say 10 years. I guarantee she hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen it in 10 years, your opinion on it dwindles for me.
Or like maybe if you see it and you're like, oh man, like you get that rush of excitement for it. I'll put on a movie just for a scene or two and then turn it on.
That's fair. I only have 2 more. I already talked about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Mm-hmm. Solid cult classic. I talked about Flash Gordon already. The Toxic Avenger, which I've talked about on episodes before, because this movie had a cartoon made after it that I loved as a child and realized later in life I should not have had a birthday party themed for this at 7 years old. But that also had sequels. And now that I think about it, the Thing technically had a sequel, but it did come out like 20 years after the movie came out. So I don't know if that counts or not. Could
Fair
not.
too.
It was a prequel, actually. And then the last one is the one I thought you were going to say was your favorite, and actually the reason I thought that this whole entire episode was done. Quite possibly one of your favorite movies to randomly quote and reference, Joe's Apartment.
It's actually a terrible movie, and I'm not really a big fan of it. I just don't want people to forget that at one point we thought it was a good idea. That's more of why I hang on to that movie.
We will never let that movie die.
So bad. So bad.
Bad movie.
And like they thought they were killing it. MTV was like, fuck, this was MTV's first movie. I just want that to sink in. We said we are a music channel. We're gonna do we're gonna do a movie. What scripts do you have? I've got this one about roaches. Give it to me.
I think
Cleveland
is not letting on how excited he was about this movie.
I don't know that I can sit through it.
It's bad. It's bad.
I bluff it. I bluff it for Jennifer because she hates it so much. But like, I fucking probably 2 minutes after she's done, I'm done.
Yeah, I put it on my list just for you. It was thought maybe you had Cleve always has the ends. He always knows when something's coming out that I don't. Thought maybe like Joe's Apartment 2 was coming out.
See, this is your time to shine because I know this is all old shit.
I do like old shit.
I took down some shows because there's some cult classes that are just some TV shows. Fringe was on a lot of people's lists.
But it had so many seasons.
I don't know that I knew it was a cult classic, quote unquote. Daria, good show.
Solid.
Veronica Mars. Never watched it, but I heard good things. Freaks and Geeks, which to me gives me like you said, like a feel about people a little bit. But comedy I've always heard is really the top. And then Firefly, which to me is like the definition of what I would consider a cult classic. And so does it just have to fail? Is that what cult classics are? Does it have to be good but fail anyway?
Yeah. 100%.
Because like what's one movie? Is that fucking the National Treasure or Atlantis or what are the ones? What's the one I'm thinking? Probably both of them.
Atlantis is you said Disney. Atlantis is one of them. Lost Planet's another. Treasure Planet's another one that later on had a big following.
So I don't know. I need someone to tell me the definition of cult classic. I guess I can Google it, but like
I did.
Fucking just tell me.
I did, and I'm telling you right now, there are so many different opinions on what a cult classic is. Like that is just it. Cult classic lives in your heart, man. It's whatever you want it to be. And if you gatekeep cult classics, then you're just like a real cringe master. Like you're the cringiest of human beings.
I enjoy that word, cringe master.
No, that can't be a cult classic. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. We call those the cult leaders.
Just give in. Oh, it's a good choice and move on. How many people did Michael upset in the
I pissed a lot of episode? Fear and Loathing is a real big following. Everybody thinks Office Space is hilarious. Big Lebowski has got a huge following. Labyrinth, fucking people heads exploded when I said I didn't like David Bowie in it. People's fucking minds just melted.
It is David Bowie.
Look, I get it. I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there right now that are like, that guy said that they should be worried about me if I like Fight Club. And I just need to explain again. This is specifically the people that are like, I'm a part of Fight Club. Or like, they think they're Tyler Durden. Or they think that they understand it. Like, it's like they're going to overthrow the system.
I think there's something to say if you started one. I think it's a pretty fine. I thought the movie was cool.
Again.
Don't hit me.
No. Yeah, no, again. in high school, we went into a park and just started punching each other because we're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I was stupid.
What age was that?
Right.
Yeah.
I was stupid.
What
Then.
age was
That's what like all 6 of these movies are like. Oh yeah, no, like I get it. Like I liked Boondock Saints. I still think it's a good movie, but like I remember what I was like when I liked it in early years, and like I was fucking stupid. Like I was like, yeah, like fucking killing people, that'd be the best. And no. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction.
Killing people would be fucking cool, you know?
Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, like Tarantino's just a terrible person, guys. It can be an okay movie, that's fine. But like Reservoir Dogs should not be your fucking personality.
Just
Clockwork Orange, 100%. If you like the movie, I don't give a fuck. If you try to tell me like there's a meaning behind it, get fucked. I don't care. It's a terrible fucking movie. All 5 of those people are fucking terrible.
Which is any.
I'm telling you now, guys.
You did great here.
Fritz the cat doesn't need to fucking
point them out, man. Point them out.
Fritz the cat.
That's a real weird one.
Exist. I'm telling you, watch the trailer when we're done with this. It fucking.
You know why? Because being a furry wasn't super cool back then.
Man,
how many people was that there awakening? Oh shit! Maybe I fucking
tell you what, guys. You want to see some cat tits? There you go.
Maybe I want to be a sheep and fuck another sheep. You know.
It's because I like us. He said he'd fuck a sheep. Let us know what you guys think. What's your favorite cult classic? What thing did Michael say that pissed you off today?
How many cult classics has Kevin Smith made? And at one point,
they did say Clerks was the only one on there. I would have thought more Mallrats than Clerks.
I saw Clerks too, but also like, yeah, Clerks got sequels.
Yeah,
it's a trilogy now.
I never saw the third one.
I saw the second.
Yoga Hosers?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it can be. That's fine.
There's no following that likes it. Everybody hates it. Even Kevin Smith knows.
This is you and half of me.
You know what? And I think the part of me that liked it is the part of me that's had to watch such shitty movies all the time that I'm like, you know what? This one, all right, it made me giggle. Anyways, guys, let us know what your cult classic favorites are. Let us know what Michael said that pissed you off, because we love to hear about that. Comment down below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, because we come out with videos all the fucking time. If you guys want to hear about something specific, you guys can reach out to us on our social medias and let us know what you want to hear, because we'll talk about it. Because at this point, we'll talk about anything.
And everything.
You guys can find us on our social medias. Cleve, what are those social medias?
We have a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter. All Friendship Supreme, except Twitter has no eyes in the word friendship. All eyes go to youtube.com/Friendship Supreme, where you can see Michael give this sign. Jesus, he's like the Toxic Avenger.
It's the fucking agent or Clockwork Orange. Anyways,
you know what? Maybe don't go to YouTube for this one. Maybe just skip that one and go to the next one. You know,
my eyes hurt from doing that. You guys can come fucking see me do it quickly. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve, and Coach would have let me back in state. Back in state, we'd have won, no doubt in my mind.